In the heart of the golden savanna, where the tall grass moves gently with the wind, a young elephant named Kavi walked beside his herd. Kavi was small, curious, and full of questions. Every day he watched the older elephants move confidently across the land. They walked through rivers without fear. They stood calmly when storms rolled in. They always seemed strong. But Kavi was still learning. One warm afternoon, the herd traveled toward a distant watering hole. The sun was bright, and the sky was clear. As they walked, Kavi noticed something beautiful fluttering near the grass. A bright blue butterfly. It danced in the air, rising and falling gently. Kavi had never seen such a colorful creature before. He stepped closer. The butterfly moved a little farther. Kavi followed. Step by step, he moved away from the herd. The world around him felt exciting and new. The butterfly flew over a small hill. Kavi hurried after it, his tiny feet kicking up dust. But when he reached the top of the hill, the butterfly disappeared into the sky. Kavi stopped. The wind felt stronger now. He looked around. The herd was gone. The grass seemed taller. The sky seemed bigger. And for the first time, Kavi felt truly alone. He lifted his trunk and called softly. But no one answered. His heart began to beat faster. He remembered how close he had always stayed to his mother. He remembered her calm presence. And now, she was nowhere in sight. Dark clouds slowly gathered above him. The air grew cooler. A distant rumble of thunder echoed across the plains. A storm was coming. Rain began to fall, first as tiny drops, then heavier and heavier. The wind pushed against Kavi's small body. He felt scared. Very scared. He wanted to cry. But then he remembered something important. The first time he stepped into the river, he had been afraid too. The water had felt cold and strong. But he didn't give up. He stood firm. He found his balance. And he learned. Maybe he could do the same now. Kavi took a deep breath. He lifted his trunk again and called louder. This time, faintly in the distance, he heard a familiar sound. A deep rumble. The sound of his herd. Hope filled his heart. He turned toward the direction of the sound and began walking. The rain continued to fall. The thunder roared again. Kavi stumbled once in the wet grass. But he stood back up. He kept walking. Step by step. The rumble grew louder. He called again, louder than before. And suddenly, through the rain, he saw large shadows moving toward him. The herd. And at the front was his mother. She rushed to him and wrapped her trunk around him tightly. The storm still raged around them, but Kavi no longer felt afraid. The herd formed a protective circle. Together, they stood strong against the wind and rain. After some time, the storm began to fade. The clouds slowly parted. Golden sunlight broke through and touched the wet grass. The savanna looked peaceful again. Kavi stayed close to his mother as the herd continued their journey. He had learned something important that day. Being curious is wonderful. Exploring the world is exciting. But courage is not about never being afraid. Courage is about moving forward, even when your heart feels small. As the sun began to set, the herd walked together across the glowing horizon. Kavi walked with steadier steps now. He was still small. Still young. But inside, he had grown stronger. Because sometimes, getting lost helps you discover your courage. And this was only the beginning of his journey.